Every person in my class that I graduated with said, this guy followed his dreams and he fulfilled it. I did it. I did what I wanted to do.
And he certainly did it. He is basically the N-scale rolling stock king. I think this is probably the largest collection of privately owned N-scale rolling stock and locomotives that I think exist. I think he has everything that's ever been created. Actually, the really interesting part is that there is a book, like a logbook, that Mr. Treaster keeps of everything that he has, of every road number of the manufacturer. Just, oh my, it is quite impressive. It's a little basement that's the same square footage as the layout of his house, kind of. But it is super impressive. I just could not get over this collection. You just have to see it.
They were running 75, 84. And you get a 35, 40 car and it's 2 GP40 dash 2s. Like on the passenger train.
Now we are at the Altoona Association of Model Railroaders. We are at their clubhouse running operations, running some trains on the layout there. This is the club that sponsored the Pennsylvania weekend, the Pennsylvania N-Scale weekend in Altoona, Pennsylvania. And it's a 2-story building. The bottom floor is N-Scale, the top floor is HO&O, and here's us running some trains. Yeah.
Am I gonna get something?
No. You're on the outside. If you're on this side, you're good.
It freaks me out. I don't want to ruin trains. They run trains all day. This is good. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm Carl Hazlitt with the Altoona Area Model Railroaders Association, and welcome to the BT&E Railroad. This railroad was originally built by Jim Brown in Clearfield, PA, and it was originally in his basement of his house. And there's an N-scale model of the layout.
Oh my goodness. That's like a layout inception. It's an N-scale model of an N-scale layout.
That is correct. And then, unfortunately, Mr. Brown, it kept growing larger, so he moved it to an outbuilding in his property. And unfortunately, after a couple of years, he passed away. One of our members, Tim Mowen, he's now our superintendent for the N-scale layout. He was actually a young man who operated with Mr. Brown on his layout. When Mr. Brown passed away, his wife remembered Tim, contacted him, and had him, basically she willed the layout to the club here. Because Tim was then a member and an officer here. So they carefully disassembled it from there, moved it down here to Altoona, to the first floor of the Altoona Model Railroaders house, and reassembled it, widened out like this area I am now.
Let me back up.
Widened out to aisles, so it's a lot easier to operate.
Yeah.
And we've been adding to the scenery and keeping it and operating the heck out of it, just as Mr. Brown intended when he first built it.
Wow. That's super cool. Well, thank you, Mr. Haslett. That's a really interesting story.
Very welcome.
Yeah. This is the upstairs, the HO&O layout and museum pieces. It was so intricate and so interesting. There's also a library full of magazines and books all about train stuff. We are here at the Horseshoe Curve. It is awesome. Today is the second day of the Altoona N-Scale weekend, or Pennsylvania N-Scale weekend in Altoona, and we are going to climb the stairs to the observation part, and we're going to wave at the virtual railfan camera, and we're going to have all of that stuff, so it's going to be super awesome. And so Frank's here too, but we're just going to climb. It's going to be strenuous, but we're going to show it anyway. the daylight. Oh. Three, two, one.